Perhaps nothing can embody its complicated better than the relationship between USA and Iran. From assassinations, militias, coups, attacks on embassies to burning of flags, their story has seen a lot of drama. Things seem to be heading towards calmer waters with the signing of the JCPOA, popularly known as the Iran nuclear deal, until the US President Donald Trump unilaterally withdrew from the agreement and imposed the toughest sanctions that the Iranian people have ever seen. With the election of Joe Biden, countries in the Middle East and especially Iran stand at the brink of a precipice. The US's return to JCPOA could lift economic sanctions and perhaps bring some much needed respite to the people of Iran. On the other hand, escalating tensions in the Middle East seem to create major hurdles in this tricky maneuver. Hello everyone, I'm Jaya and I will be your host for this episode. Today we're going to examine whether a return to the 2015 deal is even probable and what factors could get in the way of this tricky maneuver. So let's get started. US sanctions on Iran have been a feature of the US policy in the Middle East for a good part of the last 40 years. Carter, Clinton, Bush, and even most of the Obama presidency saw economic sanctions of some type on the people of Iran. In fact, the French bank BNP Paribas paid almost $9 billion in fine when they were transferring US dollars to Iranian clients and in a violation of the US sanctions. In the recent years, one of the major goals of the United States and its allies has been to stop production of nuclear weapons in Iran. In a volatile neighborhood with Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iraq, and Turkey on its borders, and Saudi Arabia just a stone's throw away across the Persian Gulf, it is understandable why more nuclear weapons in the region can be extremely dangerous. After years of negotiation, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or the JCPOA, was signed between Iran, the P5+1, and the European Union in Vienna in 2015. The JCPOA placed restrictions on Iran's ability to procure, enrich, and stockpile radioactive uranium, as well as mandated inspections by the IAEA on Iran's nuclear facilities. This agreement was quite divisive both in Iran and in the US, with conservatives on both sides calling it a defeat, while moderates hailing it as a first step towards long-term stability between the two countries. However, President Donald Trump is no fan of the JCPOA. In March 2018, a few months after he appointed John Bolton, a vocal advocate for regime change in Iran, as a national security advisor, he unilaterally withdrew from the JCPOA and imposed the strictest sanctions Iran has ever seen. By May 2019, US started tightening sanctions around Iran's oil trade, one of Iran's chief sources of income. Countries like India, who had historically been buying Iranian oil, also stopped trading with Iran in fear of retaliatory sanctions from the US. The European oil and aircraft companies that had entered Iran after the signing of JCPOA slowly withdrew because they felt like they had to pick between trade with the US and in US dollars or their Iranian clients. As Iranian oil tankers and fields became more abandoned, there was a series of attacks on foreign oil tankers. Several oil tankers in the Gulf of Oman were attacked, and a British tanker in the Strait of Hormuz in May 2019 was seized. In September 2019, drones were used to attack the state-owned Saudi Aramco oil fields in Abqaiq and Khurais. While the US alleges that Iran is behind these attacks, Iran denies any responsibility. In fact, the Houthi rebels have taken responsibility for attack on the Saudi Arabian oil fields. Iran also shot down a US surveillance drone in June last year. To add to this series of escalations, Shia military group stormed the US embassy in Iraq last December. This was kind of a throwback to the 1979 storming of the US embassy, and the US blames Iran for this provocation. Iranian citizens have been complaining that they can't get access to foreign-made medicine and equipment anymore. Despite repeated pleas to the EU, the Swiss government, and even the UN, access to life-saving drugs remains quite elusive. Additionally, Iran is facing Middle East's largest and deadliest outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, with over 1 million registered cases and 50,000 plus deaths. Biden has repeatedly asserted that US needs to go back to the JCPOA agreement, but that's easier said than done. Since the US elections in November, several developments have brought this issue to a boiling point. Firstly, the assassination of Mohsen Fakhrizadeh and Qasem Soleimani. Mohsen Fakhrizadeh was a brigadier general in the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, an academic physicist and a senior official in the Iranian nuclear program. He was assassinated in Iran. Iran has blamed Israel for this attack. This is the second assassination of a high-ranking Iranian officer after Major General Qasem Soleimani was killed in a drone attack near Baghdad airport. These assassinations have not only increased tensions but also backed some Iranian powers into corner. Any further escalation may lead to irreversible situations. Secondly, pressure by Israel, Germany, and other allies to increase the scope of negotiations with Iran. Iran claims that if the US returns to the JCPOA, Iran will scale back its enrichment too. In the recent times, Iran has increased its enrichment facilities for uranium in response to US sanctions and the withdrawal of European companies from Iran. However, any negotiations on the JCPOA, even on their sunset clauses, may lead to derailment of these plans. Germany and Israel are demanding renegotiations, not just on the expiration dates of the clauses, but also on Iran's foreign policy in the Middle East and Iran's arsenal of ballistic missiles. These type of multilateral negotiations take years to come to a resolution, and any changes in the JCPOA will definitely derail its enforcement. Not to mention the fact that there is an increased distrust in Iran about negotiating with the West, given how easily the JCPOA just crumbled. Thirdly, Saudi Arabia's interference. Saudi Arabia has said that any new negotiations involving Iran must include consultations with Saudi Arabia and other Gulf allies. They credit the breakdown of the JCPOA to the exclusion of regional partners. Accommodation and addition of these new parties, who not only have their own complicated history with Iran as well as religious wars, is only likely to pour fuel and not water on the already tense fires. Fourthly, need for urgent face-saving measures by Iranian President Rouhani. Rising gasoline prices have stirred widespread protests in Iran. People in Iran are clamoring for respite from economic deprivation caused by prolonged sanctions. Additionally, the presidential elections in Iran are scheduled for June 2021, so Rouhani really needs a win before that. Iran has also walked back on some of the provisions of the JCPOA. A few days ago, Iranian parliament approved a bill that would suspend the UN inspections of its nuclear facilities and would require the Iranian government to boost its uranium enrichment if European signatories to the 2015 nuclear deal do not provide relief from oil and banking sanctions. Finally, the Trump card. In November, Trump asked senior advisors in the Oval Office whether he had the option to take action against Iran's main nuclear site, the Natanz facility, in the coming weeks. While the meeting ended with the belief that a US missile attack on Iranian nuclear facilities was off the table, the outgoing president may still be looking for other ways to strike at Iran. One of those options could be US-backed militias in Iraq. If President Trump starts a war in Iran, it would take a lot of untangling of a whole new mess before Biden can begin any de-escalations in Iran. What do you think is the future of the US-Iran relationship in 2021? Tell me if you stand Biden-Rouhani or if Biden-Netanyahu and MBS will prevail in the comments below. Don't forget to give us some love and encouragement by hitting the like button and subscribe for more news breakdown. Until then, see you. Bye.